Imagine crawling into bed, exhausted down to the very marrow of your bones. You close your eyes, your mind drifts, but nothing happens. The next night, the exact same thing. Sleeping pills do not work. Heavy sedatives do not work. Within weeks, your physical exhaustion mutates into blinding panic and then into waking nightmares. You are not just suffering from a severe case of insomnia. Your brain has physically forgotten the biological code required to turn itself off, and within months, it will kill you. What actually happens inside the human body when the ultimate biological switch permanently breaks? What happens when the wall separating the waking world from the deep subconscious completely collapses? Most people think of sleep as a lifestyle choice or a psychological state of rest. It is not. Sleep is a highly aggressive, mechanical cleaning cycle. Today, we are going inside the rarest and most terrifying medical anomaly on Earth to witness the exact step-by-step destruction of a mind trapped in a permanent state of waking consciousness. The descent begins quietly. During the first 30 to 90 days, the patient experiences the sudden onset of progressive, unyielding insomnia. The normal biological drive to sleep is entirely blocked, but this is where the human body usually forces a failsafe. In a healthy person pushed to extreme sleep deprivation, a chemical called adenosine builds up in the brain, creating immense, undeniable sleep pressure. Eventually, the body overrides your consciousness. It forces an involuntary shutdown. You experience a microsleep, or you simply pass out. But for the afflicted, this crucial biological break is gone. The nervous system has lost its emergency failsafe. As the sleep drive is constantly denied, the patient experiences profound psychological disruptions. By month 2, unprovoked primal panic attacks ravage their daily life. Severe paranoia sets in. The body, confused and terrified by the lack of recovery, believes it is in constant mortal danger. It begins secreting adrenaline and cortisol at highly toxic levels. Moving into the 3rd and 4th months, the shadow of the disease deepens. Total sleep deprivation triggers intense visual and auditory hallucinations. Shadows in the corner of the room begin to move. Whispers echo in silent hallways. The terrible realization finally sets in for both the patient and their family. No drug on earth can force them into a restorative sleep. Medical professionals will try absolutely everything to save these patients. Out of sheer desperation, doctors administer heavy doses of barbiturates, benzodiazepines, and powerful anesthetics, attempting to force the patient into a medically induced chemical coma. If the body cannot sleep naturally, science will force it to rest. But when neurologists hook these comatose patients up to EEG monitors to observe their brainwaves, they discover something deeply disturbing, something that completely defies modern medicine and forces them to question everything they know about human consciousness. The brainwave scans reveal an impossible nightmare. Even under the crushing weight of a chemical coma, the patient's brain is still completely awake. The physical body is unresponsive due to the drugs, but the brain is still burning alive under immense cognitive stress. The medical coma has completely failed. The mind is entirely immune to the sedatives. By the 5th month, the disease evolves from severe exhaustion into a terrifying syndrome known as Agrypnia excitata. This represents the complete obliteration of the homeostatic sleep-wake balance paired with relentless, uncontrollable physical hyperactivity. At this stage, the barrier between waking reality and the dreaming world collapses entirely. Patients will stand upright in their hospital rooms, their eyes wide open, yet they will instantly drop into fragmented, fleeting REM states. They are awake, but they are visibly acting out their dreams in real time. A patient might stand in the middle of a room, having a deeply emotional conversation with a ghost only they can see. They might mimic the intricate motions of brushing their hair, or reaching out to cradle an invisible child that vanishes the moment they close their hands. Simultaneously, the autonomic nervous system locks into full fight-or-flight overdrive. The patient sweats profusely. Their resting heart rate skyrockets past 100 beats per minute, a lethal cardiovascular strain. They suffer from constant physical tremors and hyperventilation. Because the body is trapped in a permanent marathon of panic, it requires massive amounts of energy to sustain the racing heart. But with no rest to rebuild damaged tissue, the body begins rapidly consuming its own muscle mass. Severe, rapid weight loss strips the patient down to a skeletal state in a matter of weeks. This is not a psychological breakdown. This is a physical demolition of the human nervous system. And it is all being caused by a microscopic rogue entity, silently drilling invisible holes directly into the center of the brain's most protected biological vault. To understand how a brain forgets how to sleep, we have to isolate the thalamus. Located deep near the absolute center of the brain, the thalamus acts as your mind's grand sensory gatekeeper. Every sight, sound, and physical sensation you experience passes directly through the thalamus before reaching your conscious mind. To initiate sleep, the thalamus must actively slam the door shut on all that incoming sensory data, dampening the external signals, so your cerebral cortex can finally power down and rest. But in this disease, the thalamus is under siege. The culprit is not a viral infection, and it is not a bacterial invasion. It is something much stranger and much harder to kill. It is a prion. A prion is an infectious, misfolded cellular protein. You can think of it as a biological zombie. When this deformed, rogue protein bumps into a perfectly healthy protein inside the thalamus, it violently forces the healthy protein to misfold into an abnormal, toxic shape, spreading the physical decay like a chain reaction of falling dominoes. These multiplying prions thoroughly destroy the specific nuclei of the thalamus. The great gatekeeper is essentially assassinated. The door is broken wide open forever, allowing a chaotic, unstoppable flood of sensory information to keep the brain violently awake. This destruction triggers a catastrophic secondary failure. Sleep acts as the brain's plumbing system. During deep, slow-wave sleep, the glymphatic system flushes away highly toxic metabolic waste products. Because the patient never enters deep sleep, this vital plumbing system completely shuts down. Toxic waste builds up by the hour, suffocating healthy surrounding neurons and rapidly accelerating the brain's decay. Historically, this terrifying condition is known as fatal familial insomnia. The earliest documented case traces back to the year 1765. An Italian physician living in the canal-lined streets of Venice succumbed to a mysterious illness marked by endless sleeplessness, paralysis, and severe fever. The Venetian doctor unknowingly passed the mutated gene down to his descendants. For over 2 centuries, the disease haunted this specific Italian bloodline, striking members down in the prime of their lives with absolute precision. It wasn't until 1983 that modern science finally isolated the exact genetic mutation on chromosome 20. For decades, the global medical community believed this terrifying fate was purely an inescapable family curse, passed down exclusively through rare, ancient genetic bloodlines. If you didn't have the family history, you were completely safe. Until doctors discovered a patient with absolutely zero family history, who woke up one morning to find their biological switch had broken entirely by accident. In 1999, scientists discovered a non-inherited, non-genetic twin to the disease. They named it sporadic fatal insomnia. It features the exact same lethal clinical progression, the same primal panic, the same waking hallucinations, the same total sleep obliteration, but it occurs completely spontaneously. Through a completely random somatic mutation, an otherwise perfectly healthy individual with absolutely zero family history of the disease suddenly begins producing the deadly misfolded prions. The nightmare does not just hide in ancient localized genetic lineages, it can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. A single, microscopic cellular typo can cause your healthy brain proteins to start misfolding tomorrow morning. You do not have to inherit the curse. Your own body can manifest it out of thin air, and modern PET scans reveal something even more chilling. The thalamus begins slowing down and losing its metabolic activity years before the patient experiences their very first night of true insomnia. The physical switch is breaking in the dark, silently deteriorating long before the victim ever notices a problem. This brings us to the ultimate, grim reality of the condition. How does total sleeplessness actually end a human life? The absolute biggest misconception is that these patients die simply because they are too tired. Extreme exhaustion and sleep deprivation severely weaken the human body, but tiredness is not what delivers the final fatal blow. The true cause of death is complete, catastrophic autonomic system collapse. Without the functioning thalamus to regulate basic homeostasis, the human body runs a permanent, non-stop physical marathon. The internal thermostat violently breaks. The patient suffers from continuous hyperpyrexia, sending internal body temperatures skyrocketing to a lethal 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Cortisol production remains permanently off the charts, poisoning the bloodstream. The cardiovascular system is whipped mercilessly by the constant, unending flood of adrenaline. Between the 12th and 18th month, Advanced dementia and total loss of motor control take over. The patient sinks into a semi-comatose state, trapped permanently in a ruined, burning shell. Ultimately, the heart pump just gives out. The internal organs completely fail under the sheer, unyielding heat and stress of being buried alive inside a runaway nervous system. There is a definitive 100% mortality rate. Upon autopsy, the most shocking truth is finally fully revealed under the microscope. The thalamus of an afflicted patient looks exactly like an old, dry kitchen sponge. The misfolded prions have literally drilled millions of tiny microholes through its very core, hollowing it out cell by cell until the physical switch that allows human consciousness to rest is entirely gone. Every single night, when you drift off to sleep, your brain performs a quiet, uncelebrated miracle. It closes the gates to the chaotic outside world. It systematically flushes out the toxic metabolic waste of the day. It repairs and resets the infinitely complex machinery of your mind. Sleep is not a waste of time. It is the fragile, invisible boundary keeping you sane, keeping you whole, and keeping you alive. Appreciate your next night's rest, because you never truly know when your brain might permanently lose the code. Appreciate your next night's rest, because you never truly know when your brain might permanently lose the code. Drop your worst sleepless night in the comments. I hope you sleep well tonight, and thank you for watching.